Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, and this is the LockerGnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short. Your daily dose of geek news, product views, and answers that you can use, like an answer to the question, why are the lights out right now in this video, and why are Chris's fingers glowing red and green? It's because we're still celebrating Glow Week on LockerGnome.com. I don't know if you guys have visited lately, or gals, because we'll take both the sexes, or any sex you want to be. I don't care. Just take a look at LockerGnome.com. We're constantly featuring cool things every day of the week, and even if you weren't able to catch up with the stuff today, just know that the stuff will be there for you to look at any point in the future. Do you think I should do the entire video like this?
Yeah.
Well, I'm asking you, hun, but I'm also asking the live viewers, because, you know, they have a say in it too. Hang on, let me take a sip of my water, which is not glowing. Thank you for the liquid refreshment, honey. I also have to thank the 805 patrons today. They are supporting the things that I'm doing. Like right now, they're supporting this. No, seriously, we are now over 800. I'm very, very happy about that. These 800 patrons are really the backbone of this community, and that's a great way of positioning, you know, really where they sit in this grand scheme of things. They're enabling a greater amount of value for this relatively geeky community, enough for me to continue to do the things that I do. This is a live video on YouTube. I think it's time to turn on the light. Cue Diana. There we go. Thank you. Beginning to worry there for a second. I'm going to turn off all of these glowy finger thingies. We gave these out as Halloween treats this year, and they were a hit with the kids.
Yeah.
And the adults. I think more the adults were happy about it than the kids. This is a Friday edition. I will be doing a live stream this weekend, tomorrow night, with Jerry, also known as Barnacle Nerdgasm. All patrons get priority questions and responses during that live stream. This live stream, of course, is being fueled by your questions, not including the questions that I'm addressing regularly on chris.pirillo.com. See, this is the thing. I do more than just the YouTube stuff, right? I'm doing things beyond this. So even if you're already annoyed with this video, well, you know, I'm doing other things that may not annoy you as much. And, you know, I'm just happy that you're paying attention. Let me go ahead and dive into the question list here, a couple of which I know I'm going to be addressing in my blog in this coming week. Hamza Ahmed asks, I saw a while ago in a vlog that you upgraded the graphics in your Mac Pro. What did you upgrade it to? I ended up switching to what I thought was going to be an upgrade, and it was in terms of actual RAM on the video card, but in terms of what I was able to see on the desktop, I didn't see much of a difference. So in the process of upgrading, I went from a video card with 2 dual link DVI ports. Let me try it again. 2 dual link DVI ports, because each one of these 30-inch monitors requires a dual-link DVI connection. I went from that to 1 dual-link DVI port and a display link port. And so I had to make a conversion. And in that process, I don't know if I really improved the situation any. In fact, I ran into other issues. I just didn't see the benefit of upgrading the video card in terms of what I was able to use or what OS X was able to open me up to outright. At some point in the very near future, and I mentioned this yesterday, I'm going to be upgrading both of these 30-inch screens to just one super widescreen monitor. So these 30-inch monitors that have been here for ever since I can remember, ever since you can remember watching the videos likely on YouTube, they're going to be gone. I'm probably going to sell them. I'm not going to be using them at some point. I'm just going to go with one big widescreen rather than 2 large screens. I'm very happy to have found an opportunity to have one. It's a larger screen. The resolution isn't necessarily greater vertically. In fact, I'm losing a few pixels vertically, and obviously going from two 30-inch monitors to just one screen, there's no equivalent for that. But I think that in terms of the widescreen that I'm about to get, it will be enough pixels, or there will be enough pixels to factor, as I factored in my use case with having two screens, it will work out just fine. I've been having or using dual screens for ages, but I gotta tell you, for the most part, I use this primary screen. The secondary screen that I have is usually there for communications that I kind of throw into the background, like instant messaging. Not messaging. Messaging isn't a word that I know of. So, I upgraded the graphics. I went from one to another, but I couldn't even tell you. I mean, I care, but it's been so long, I can't remember what it was. I think it was in a vlog. It was maybe a couple years ago, a year ago or something like that. The Mac Pro is not exactly on its last leg, but it's definitely getting long in the tooth. I've been thinking about upgrading at some point in the future. I just don't know when. I mean, it costs a lot of money to get a new computer, and I don't want to do it unless I need to do it. And there certainly would be a possibility of upgrading to a newer Mac Pro if I could figure out the costs around it, or specifically in relation to upgrading to an iMac. Although now that I would have a new monitor, that would also factor in. The iMac has the screen built in, whereas the Mac Pro does not. I'd be looking for something a bit more energy efficient than the current Mac Pro, no doubt about it. So I'm sorry I didn't really answer that question, but I kind of talked around it as best I could. I think I went from either ATI to NVIDIA or NVIDIA to ATI. Okay, here's the thing. I don't know, and I know you care, and I don't have an answer to the question, but I don't care. I don't know. I mean, I care about your question. I care about you, but I don't know. And I cared, but it's like, okay, this should be a better experience, and it really wasn't. And I was just like, all right, well, I can keep the video card around just in case I might need it at some point in the future. Now I have this a newer Mac Pro video card that works okay, and an older Mac Pro video card that worked almost just as well, and I don't know what to do with it. See, now I've talked about stuff, and I just don't... I've created zero value in that conversation other than telling you what's been going on in my head and what's coming down the pike for this stuff. John, you're joking around with me. He says, will you show us baby Pirillo since he appeared in your Instagram feed yesterday? Also, how's Diana doing after the birth? John knows very well that the baby Pirillo photo that I posted yesterday was me. That was me. A lot of people don't know how to read hashtags or don't know what TBT means. It means Throwback Thursday. A lot of people thought that you gave birth to me, hun.
I kind of did.
Or that, your planned pregnancy. What we've been doing, that your due date of September was, apparently blown out of the water with a full-blown infant on the bed. God. I'm not trying to slag anybody who can't read or who didn't read. It's just that people don't read. I mean, it's a joke, kind of like, TLDR. People don't read.
Yeah. Maybe they got overly excited.
They may have gotten overly excited. And John definitely knows, because he kind of said, are you people for real? Because people are like, oh my god, congratulations. For what? For being myself? Yeah, okay, thank you.
For being a cute baby.
Ooh. All right, this one is now this next question, this is one I can sink my teeth into. Rami asked, I think I have a hard question. Why do you think Apple chose to have high building quality over pricing and not the other way around like Samsung? This always gets me thinking and really curious to know why. Well, my perspective, why did they go with overall quality instead of fighting on pricing? Because a good quality product is a great product to have, and people will pay money. I mean, luxury things don't not sell because they cost more. It's just that certain people buy those luxury products. And that's not to say that I would consider Apple a luxury product. In fact, to tell you the truth, some of Samsung's products are more expensive than the equivalent Apple product. And not every fanboy or fangirl is really aware of that reality. I think, creating a product that's worth buying takes a quality approach, stem to stern, not just the build quality of the materials, the manufacturing process, quality control, but software coming in tow, and then an overarching experience. And that's one thing that I wish more companies would do. I wish more companies were like Apple. And that's not to say that I think that, everything needs to be like Apple, but the way that Apple really kind of keeps its eye on a product line and emphasizes experience over specs, I think more technology companies, or even beyond, could benefit from taking that approach. I mean, I've never been disappointed when I had a good product, and I've had a lot of bad products. I've been disappointed with more products than I've been happy with, and some people might suggest that this has disillusioned me with respect to technology and new gadgets. I look at them. A new gadget that people might be talking about that hasn't even been released yet. I'm like, we'll see. I've had a lot of crappy experiences. I mean, it looks good on paper, but then you actually use it and you're like, ugh, I spent money on this? You know what? I'd rather spend more money on a good product than less money on a crappy product. Because you spend less money on a crappy product, you're still wasting your money on a crappy product. Right? You feel me? So, Apple took, I think, what ended up being, and I think they tripped towards this, the right way. And it's not to say they're right in every respect. Trust me, there are many things that I don't like that Apple does. I'm not saying that they're the model of perfection. But I think they chose going with the eye for quality in terms of build quality, and this is in relation to Rami's question, overpricing, because you build a good product, people are going to buy it. Yeah, that's it, period. I mean, if you make a good product, people will buy it. If you make a bad product, a lot of people may buy it. Will they love a bad product? They may tolerate it. I've never met anybody who's loved a bad product, though. And I think as a company, you're better off striving for quality and building a quality product that people actually care about and love than just creating a product just to create a product. And just to make money. That's not to say that Apple isn't about making money. Trust me. They are all about making money. Just like every entity that's publicly traded wants to make money. So it's the way that they choose to make money that I think benefits the consumers overall. And whether you like Apple or not, and I don't know if you do. I'm just throwing this out there in terms of anybody who may not like Apple. Whether they like it or not, Apple has influenced the entire industry stem to stern. They influenced Android from pretty much not the inception of Android, but for what it turned into almost immediately in consumers' hands. They've influenced everything in terms of how we expect consumer technology to work. I don't throw my money after bad products. I don't use bad products. I try a lot of products, and a lot of products I will continue to use. But it's obvious that I don't think Apple's needing to compete in the same way that other companies have to compete. They've got good products. You want to compete? Make a better product. Definitively better products, stem to stern. And better, remember, is relative. Sometimes you're just making a product that's good enough. And you know what? That's how I've seen Windows for the longest time. Windows has been a product that's worked good enough. And I don't think Microsoft can rest on that anymore. And they're waking up to that. I really believe that they are absolutely waking up to that, or should be waking up to that, because, and I think they are, just with some of the decisions that they've made over the past year, really, or past few months. Nathan Alvarez asks, what are your thoughts on this new Android Silver initiative that is supposed to replace the Nexus line going forward? Well, I have talked about this briefly in TLDR recently. I think it's a great idea. I like what Google did with the Nexus, but it kind of put them in a competitive position in relation to, well, their OEMs, the people who take Android and take that ball and run with it. I'm much happier. I would be much happier with the idea of Android Silver than I would be the Nexus. And here's why. Because the idea of Android Silver, this program, that I think is it an initiative now? Is it happening? Is it still a rumor? I don't know. The idea is that Google is basically going to say, all right, if you make your product and it meets these expectations, you are this is like a silver product effectively. And I think that's a better way of going because instead of a whole bunch of really crappy Android experiences out there, you may enjoy or appreciate products from one OEM over another. You can get an Android Silver or a product in that Android Silver line from your favorite manufacturer instead of having to go with the Nexus product that was made by a manufacturer that you may not have cared about. So I think it's going to increase competition. It's going to put the onus on manufacturers to create a very compelling product. And allow the people that really value what Android is at its core, who don't want anything layered on top of it, to get a product that they want. And really, and I know there are a lot of options, and that's the beauty. Android, the ecosystem is replete with manufacturers. Most Android products are crap. Most of them. I'm not saying all of them, mind you. Not saying all of them. And most of them that are crap are put together with cheap parts, just shoddy experiences, no support at all, products you've probably never even heard of. So that's really not a relevant point to cover, but it's still something that has plagued Google because it's pulled the quality products down, and Google's trying to correct that. So I think that something like Android Silver is long overdue. They kind of touched upon that with the Google Play editions. And I appreciated that as well because when it comes to using any kind of Android product, even though I appreciate add-ons that I can download, and there's some nice things that have been built in with third-party overlays in terms of features on top of Android, but I always appreciate a clean user experience out of the box. So I think that Silver is going to elevate the stature of Android. I think it's to Google's benefit, and I think it's to the OEM's benefit, and I think it's to the consumer's benefit more so than the classic Nexus line, and for all the reasons that I pretty much just described. Tom Grieve asked, how far do you think wearable tech will go in the next 10 years? I will answer that question in an upcoming blog post on chris.pirillo.com. Reese Langham asks, and by the way, these are all questions asked by patrons. Oh, I forgot to turn the screen off, guys. I apologize. You've had to stare at that the whole time. Let me go ahead and run through the list of credits, which you should stare at, because these people are patrons at a certain level or higher. We're doing, by the way, a Google Plus Hangout with patrons. I think there's a certain level where I do a Google Plus Hangout every month. I sent out an invitation to those people. So if you're a part of that tier that gets the Hangouts, you should have received the invitation to let me know which time would work best for you, and we'll try to pick the time that's best for everybody across the board. Reese Langham, another patron, asks, what's your ideal holiday destination? I will address that in a upcoming blog post as well, and that'll be likely coming up this week. I'm very happy to answer a lot of those questions that you guys ask. Like I said, I can't cram it all into one video every week, and I can't necessarily. Some of these questions are good to answer on an individual basis, but a lot of them I can answer like this. Not a big deal. I can pop them out. I can just talk through it, and that's why I do an AMA every Friday. On the open Facebook thread, Manowar I'm just going to go with your first name. Manowar asks, do you want to build a snowman? He got 4 thumbs up for that. I do not. Donald McLeod asks, why is your hair so awesome? Genetics. That's what it boils down to, is genetics. No one wants my soul patch either. I cut it off, taped it up to a piece of paper, no one wants it. Christopher McAuliffe asks, what do you think of OneNote disc copy still being available for sale in stores in spite of being a free download now? People want it. Let them buy it. It's not to say that they shouldn't be made aware that it's available for free, but some people just want that physical media, and they're willing to spend money on it. Believe it or not. Even if you told them you can download it for free, some people are just much more comfortable with a physical piece of media. In fact, I remember my dad and potentially my mom getting upset when software no longer came with manuals. This would upset them greatly. Well, how am I supposed to learn? Well, you search for it, or the software just makes it happen, No, they wanted a physical manual. They'd be willing to pay for a physical manual, a book, a printed volume, for a piece of software. They're willing to pay for it. So I would say it's them. Those are the people. So if they want to spend money on it, who am I to say that they shouldn't? Danny Corona asks, have you played with the Radxa? R-A-D-X-A? What the hell's the R-A-D-X-A? Is he just making this up? Are you guys making things up? Is this a new Minecraft thing? Apparently I have not. Or if I have, I am not aware that I did. Truett Grissom asks, blue or green? Green. Did you hear that, hon? I went with green for you. Because her favorite color is green. A little glowy finger thing. And my favorite color is red. So you didn't give red as an option, so I'm going with green. Alex Smith asks, do you want to go to Pete's? I haven't been to Pete's in a long time. Quite honestly, I found their coffee in what I've experienced at the local Pete's outlet to not be as good as the way I'm able to make coffee, really another bean from another manufacturer, another roaster. I can do it better than they can now. I found something that suits my palate. I enjoy Pete's. I enjoy a great cup of Pete's, but unfortunately, I've not been that happy with their drip coffee. And I think the reason why is because I'm now making it at a substantially stronger. No, it's thicker, or it's definitely thicker. It's more robust. It's darker. Okay, it's the same bean. It's just the way that I brew it and press it. It's thick. You don't chew it, but it's how else do I explain how I like my coffee? And once you find a way, and once you find that flavor profile that you enjoy, that's all you want. And Pete's used to have that for me, and I still do enjoy a good cup of Pete's when I can't get anything else. But I would say that the local shop is really disappointed me, and it's not all that local. It's kind of far away. It's a drive away. And so why would I want to drive out of my way for a cup of coffee that's just not as good as the one that I can make at home, through my AeroPress, which I now sit on, as you guys have seen in the vlog. Why don't you just do a Reddit IAMA? Dustin Alden asks. Because then a whole bunch of trolls come in, and what's the point? I mean, I did it once, and it was nice, but some people have it in their tiny little brains that I'm still the person that I was a decade ago when they watched me on TV. And yes, I'm going to call them people with tiny brains. If you still believe that I am still the same person as I was a decade ago, there's a problem with you, not me. So I would rather go directly to this particular community than go to a gigantic website, awesome place for awesomeness. I'm not slagging Reddit. There are people with tiny brains who exist everywhere. It's just that when I become a part of another kind of community, I don't know if I'd be able to address the questions to the core group of people who actually do care. For example, the patrons, or the people who participated in this Facebook comment thread that I'm referring to right now. It may have been lost on Reddit, or I would have, been brought to the attention of someone who didn't like me, and so I would have had to waste time on someone who was trying to be mean, or was effectively being mean. I don't have time for that in my life. I don't care about people who don't care about me. Why would I open myself up to be subjected to people who do not care who I am? It's a bad idea. A really colossal bad idea. Where to get the Razer Blade gaming tab at cheap best price? I don't know. I've got a link for Amazon. If you want anything on Amazon, I can send you a link. I can do that, or tweet it, or reply that way. But I don't know anything about the Razer Blade gaming tab. Is this a browser extension? I doubt it, because he's buying it. It's a gaming thing, so is this a... Sounds like a piece of hardware. I was playing with the browser tab thing. Look, I'm juggling this virtual ball. If you had to choose between Star Wars or technology, which would you pick? Star Wars. Because Star Wars never gets old. It's old, but it's a story, and technology is outdated, 5 minutes from now. Why would you want that? I'm interested in technology. I'm fascinated with technology, but it's old. It's outdated. just like that, and then you're on to the next thing. Well, Star Wars, we get new stories, but the old stories are still very valuable and still mean something. They don't change. Those old stories don't change. Technology changes all the time. Massive difference between the two. Someone else asked what my favorite music was. Really? Watch the blogs. I hum, sing, whistle my favorite music all the time. Emmanuel John Sellis asks, what or who you're going to choose, Bacon, Star Wars, or Diana? Well, what? That's not even a... How is that a choice? Okay, if I'm hungry, I'm going to choose Bacon. If I want to be entertained, I'm going to watch Star Wars. If I want the touch of a female companion, I'm going to choose Diana. These questions, I don't even know if I can count that as it's a valid question. It's just a little, okay. Why do you keep saying, ask me anything, asks Martina Fleming. Because it's a chance for you to ask me anything. I may or may not answer. It may not give you the answer that you want or that you're looking for, that you're hoping for, but still a little thrown off by this Bacon Diana Star Wars thing. Is this a real versus? Food versus entertainment versus human touch? Did I miss something? I'm not being facetious either. I don't know if this is a thing. I'm an old man now. I'm 40 years old. And still playing with toys. Francisco Alvarado. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed Mason. Oh, no, I missed John's question. Joel Angeles asks, do you own a folding bike? I don't even own a bike. I could probably ride a bike again, and if I did ride a bike, it would probably be this one. We featured it on LockerGnome.com the other day, the hover bike. I would own a hover bike. Who would not want to own a hover bike? We featured this just the other day. It's a nice little. Let me see if I can pull up the image here. Well, okay. You can watch the YouTube video. We've got it linked in the on LockerGnome.com. Hover bikes, they're for real. That's the only kind of bike I would probably enjoy getting on at any point in the future. So no collapsible or foldable bike, but I would want folding bike, but I would want a hover bike. Mason Mintzberg asks if I can do a public Google Hangout account. The answer is no. Francisco Alvarado asks, are you going to do a subscription geek box? I've been thinking about it, and I have an idea about what I want to do. Figuring out how to get it done is really where I'm at with it right now. For what I would want, I think it's a good idea. I just got to figure out how to get it done. I don't want to just resell somebody else's products or find other people's products and then push them out there. Because a lot of the subscription boxes that I get, not every one of them, a lot of them that I might have seen or received, I wouldn't have even paid for the stuff in the box. I'm like, well, if I wouldn't even pay for the stuff in the box, why am I paying them to send me a box? So I'd rather create something on a subscription basis that people could use and appreciate and that it becomes my own product than resell other people's products in that capacity. So I'm just trying to figure that out, but I'm not an engineer, and I've got a couple ideas. I've got a designer lined up, and I've got someone who can help me facilitate the manufacturing, but tying those ends together is where my mind is right now. Brandon Shaw asks, what is your favorite Wu-Tang album? What the hell is a Wu-Tang? That's the orange drink that astronauts drink? Wasn't that? Todd Donna asks, are you upset that you can no longer hide things in your mustache? Lol. No, I couldn't hide anything. Couldn't even hide my gray hair. It's not even gray. I don't even think I'm going to go gray. I'm going from black to white. I've got some white hair. You can see them over here at times, especially in the vlog, these little white rogue hairs, and they're all over the place. Chris Power asks, why is there cancer in this world? Dude, you're asking me? I don't know. If it were up to me, cancer wouldn't exist. In fact, there's all sorts of new revolutions in technology. Revolutions? Evolutions. Revelations in technology? No. Technology. There are advancements in technology. Seemingly every day I see something new where they figured out how to take one thing that already existed and kill cancer or harm cancer, including, what was it? The measles vaccination, I think, has now been seen to halt some kind of blood cancer or any kind of metastasized cancer. I mean, I'm very lucky to not have ever had cancer or have someone too terribly close to me as an adult who, well, no, actually, I take that back. I have known people around my age who have died of cancer. Yeah, so I can't say that I don't know anybody. I know someone. I think we all do. Why is there cancer? Biological organisms. It's nature. You know, it could be written down to survival of the fittest. Ricky Pinato asks, can you help stop these fires? And I did respond to this one. He's down in the San Diego area. Sorry if my screen's too bright there. And this is the kind of thing that he's seeing. He was evacuated from his home. Unfortunately, I cannot control that. I wish I could, though. A couple of these questions I'm going to be answering in my blog this coming week, so I'm skipping over them. Andrew Jones says, no question, but to let you know, I just used your link in the description last week to purchase the same blogging camera. Oh, cool. Thank you. I love my vlogging camera. It's a workhorse. Hun, do you want to vlog? It's fun. You could use it right now. It's awesome. Can. We've about hit the half-hour mark. I'm happy to see that people are commenting in the live stream. Thank you for that. I don't know if I was able to address all the questions that I would have wanted to address, but I got through most of them. And I'm very, very thankful and grateful that you decided to participate. And we're interested in the questions that I answered, as well as the answers that I potentially provided. If I upset you with any of the answers, that was not intentional. I kind of do this off the cuff. It's the way that I prefer to do things. Unedited, live. It's just easier for me, and I've generally got a few thoughts about a lot of things, or if I don't have any thoughts, well, it's kind of obvious. What the hell's a Wu-Tang? Is that like Dicky Doo-Doo disease? Oh, you better get your Wu-Tang checked out. Can I even say that? Is that a bad word? I know. Wu-Tang Clan? Couldn't tell you anything they sang. If they did. I think it was like a rap group. I don't know. Not my thing. I grew up listening to Weird Al Yankovic, and that started in the 7th grade. In fact, I think I'm going to go listen to some of his stuff right now, but I can't do that on YouTube because I don't have the rights to rebroadcast. Thank you, everybody, for remembering to like, share, comment, subscribe, watch even more of our videos right now after going to a YouTube page of ours, clicking the gear icon next to the subscribed button, and enabling updates, because that way you can get an email anytime we upload a new video to this channel or the vlog channel. There's a little flashing for you. I'm flashing you again before tuning out. At this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices. In another half hour, record a video dedicated to the what would you do question of the day, asked by a patron. What would you do if your child wants to set up their own YouTube channel? I will be answering that question in a separate video exclusive to patrons. If you want to become a patron, head over to chrispirillo.com for more information. We'll see you later.